what was your first approach to reportage and how did it happen? What was your urgency when you first started?
Well, I started as journalist. Very soon I was asked for the big reportage, le grand reportage, like the French say. And first I worked for a daily paper, national paper in the Netherlands, and then for a weekly after 3 or 4 years. It was a very well-known weekly, which was in the tradition of Rolling Stone, with large reportage. And this was what was called in that time new journalism. It was a form of more personal journalism. After 15 years of journalism, I decided to fix myself on books, because it gave me more possibility to write a bigger subject and to spend much more time for research. So since 1984, I'm full-time writer, full-time author, and full-time traveler, because for all my books I travel a lot to do the research or to find subjects. I don't travel for pleasure, I travel to find stories.
And about traveling, you have traveled a lot to places and explored lives far apart in time and space, Baltics, Russia, the island of Java, all America. And your latest book is about Netherlands. You made this decision. What moved you to focus on your homeland now with an entire book and not before?
I decided to write this book in 2020 when there was the famous Corona crisis, COVID. I couldn't travel anymore. So it was forbidden for me. I couldn't take a plane, I couldn't go anywhere. So it was a very heavy period for me as traveler too. I couldn't travel anymore. Then I read in the paper that the hotel in Volendam, the Hotel Spaander, where during a long period there were a lot of artists, that this hotel was bankrupt. And then I remember that in 1980 I made a beautiful interview with a Dutch poet who had written a poem about Frits Stauloff. He was a very famous painter, impressionist, from Norwegian, and he died in the hotel in Volendam. This hotel in this little fishing village. And I asked him, how did you find this subject? How did you find it? And he said to me, well, I was in Norwegian, and there I was in a museum, and I saw some paintings of this man, and it was written, born in Oslo, died in Volendam. And he came from the same region, so he decided to research. He said to me, come with me, go to the hotel. So we went to the hotel, and I was so astonished, because in this hotel there were some paintings on the wall. Yes, some paintings. I saw that there were some paintings, but when I entered, I saw that there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of paintings of very famous artists from France, from England, from the United States, from the Scandinavian countries, from Germany, from Italy, from Spain. This hotel was during a long period, very popular by artists. And then I remembered that I was there, and then I decided, well, I can't travel anymore, but from Amsterdam to Volendam it is 20 kilometers. I can take the bike. It was not forbidden to take the bike, and so I started my research. I knew that it was an artist's colony, but I didn't know that the hotel was really created for artists. I didn't know that there were so many artists. I wanted to discover why all those painters came to Volendam and why they stayed so long. The reason was the light, marvelous light. They could paint the sailing boats, and always the light was different. Always it was different, completely different. The owner of the hotel decided to create 11 ateliers for the artists. So they had a space to paint. And they could hire for a very low price. The artists were welcome. In front of the hotel there was written, "Artist, kom binnen." Artist, come in. And for artists, that was really a heaven. They stayed there for a long time, very well-known artists, and so it was for them. It was heaven. I discovered my country by the eyes of those foreign artists, and they saw different things that I saw as a Dutchman, things that I find completely normal. But they showed me what was really the essence of Holland. So that is the title of my book, La Scoperta dell'Olanda.
In the line of the discovery of Holland, you write, "Finding the right angle is always the hardest part of composing a poem or writing or painting. Which perspective should I take?" So what new things did you discover about Holland from the specific perspective of Hotel Spander?
I look to my country by foreign eyes. And it's always good to look that you discover your country by foreign eyes, because they see different things. And stranger in Italy, he sees other things that you see as an Italian. Because of what? Because you live every day in Italy. You are not surprised by, for example, the extreme beauty of a town as Mantova. If you live here, you say not every day, "Oh, what it is great, all those buildings." But a stranger, he sees. So it is always good to look by the eyes of a stranger to your own country.
Coming to the present, what is the relationship between Volendam of the past and today's Volendam, and what does the story of Volendam, the history of Volendam, tell us about the current polder situation?
It is an example for tolerance. And the situation in the Netherlands is now that we live in an intolerant period. The stranger is not any more welcome, like it was at the end of the 19th century. So I wrote this book also for my countrymen. Look at your history, how you were, and look how you are now. Tolerance is not something you have for new generations. You cannot heritage tolerance. Tolerance you have to find out every day anew to prove what is tolerance. And they did in Volendam in the end of the 19th century, in the beginning of the 20th century. I see this book also as a lesson of the past for the present, and the present is much worse than the past.
What theme, character, story or place are you currently drawn to for your next reportage?
Oh, yeah, the next book that will be published, is just published in the Netherlands. It is 14 long stories about 14 famous artists in 14 places. And one of them is Mantova, and there's a story about Monteverdi. Art as form of freedom. Art can show us what is really freedom. Artists had to escape sometimes from fascism. Art can be a big lesson of life. It is not something as a sort of luxury. Without art, without culture, we are nothing. This book is also about traveling is the best way to discover the world. Traveling is the best way to enter in contact with other countries and with other people. People with other religion, people with other ideas, other philosophies. We are not the persons in the West, in Europe, to have the wisdom in our possession. No, you can find everywhere in the world wisdom.